He was a 4-time Pro Bowler in 13 NFL seasons. When he signed that 10-year, $130 million deal, he was at the time the highest paid quarterback. Now, many of the young quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, they've gotten, as they call it, the bag. Mike Vick is now joining us, Fox Sports NFL analyst. So go back to when you signed that big contract, Michael. Listen, if I was 25 years old and somebody gave me a couple $100 million, I don't know what I would do. Did it get into your head a little bit for the next few months?
Yeah, it certainly set in like instantly. I went house hunting and I started looking for a bigger house and I started looking for more cars and I was just, and even still, once I did all that, Colin, I had so much money left. I was like, you know what? I got bored at a certain point, when it all set in. And then I started to mature a little bit. And then I started to talk about investing and what was important and, finding ways to spend the money as opposed to spending it on splendor. So once I realized what was most important, I started channeling the money in the right directions. But it was certainly cool to have that bag, like you said.
So Jalen Hurts is going to be interesting. He lost a really, really good offensive coordinator in Shane Steichen, who took the Colts job. So Shane Steichen was Justin Herbert's rookie coordinator, excellent. He goes to Jalen Hurts, 2 years, excellent. And now you lose him. So go back to your career. You put a lot of trust in your coordinators. They know you better than your teammates do. Take me through what it's like to love a coordinator and he walks out the door. How hard is it?
It's extremely difficult. I mean, I think back to the times when I had Dan Reeves, who was pretty much my offensive coordinator. Called the plays, spent a lot of time with him. And in 2 years after injury, he was gone. And now it's a new system. It's a new offensive coordinator, new personality, new concepts. Everything is all new. And so while as players we try to feel like it's not uncomfortable, it's really uncomfortable in the back of your mind.
Sure.
And in your heart. So you have to approach it the same way you approached it with, your first coordinator. I'm gonna do everything right. I'm gonna try to meet him halfway and meet him in the middle so we can be efficient and make this thing work.
Okay, so let's talk young quarterbacks, Justin Fields. So I've said he's a little bit so far of a YouTube quarterback. If you went to YouTube and watched his highlights, he would blow you away.
Amazing.
Yep, but as you know, so much of this league is just doing the layups. It's doing the easy stuff.
Right.
That's 90% of this sport. So when you watch Justin Fields, can he ever be how long did it take you? Light goes on. You felt totally comfortable in the pocket. Because when I watch him, Michael, I see a young man that the minute it gets a tad uncomfortable, he is so clearly athletic enough to just run past people. I get it. I saw it with you. I get it. Do you think when did you decide, you know what, the pocket is my friend. I'm going to stay here an extra beat?
Well, it wasn't until year 2 where I got comfortable within the offense, where I really felt like I can hang in the pocket, I can go through all my reads, and then let my running ability happen instinctually.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. When you try to predetermine when to run, I'm gonna take off, I'm gonna drop back, look left, and then take off and run left, you usually end up running into somebody. And when it's done naturally, that's when you find a passing lane. You might be able to slide up, push up into a certain area, and then break contain and get outside of the pocket. But that comes with the comfort level of knowing the offense, understanding when to pass it, when to run it, and then also anticipating. So to Justin's credit, this is year 2 in this system.
Right.
I always felt like last year was still going to be a learning curve. He's still fairly young, so let's give him credit for that. But now I expect to see what we've seen out of Jalen Hurts and these young quarterbacks who progressed in year 2 and year 3, but being in the same system.
Yeah, by the way, they've upgraded at tight end with Robert Tonyan from the Packers. They have upgraded with DJ Moore. Darnell Mooney's already really good. The O-line appears to have found their left tackle. So I think most of us feel like this is the year he's going to pop. I want to talk about So I want to talk about Anthony Richardson because C.J. Stroud's a pocket guy, and I think Bryce Young is too. Anthony is unique. 1 year of starting in college, but he is 6'5", 255. He's like Big Ben or Cam.
Right.
Like, he's as big as a rush end. I kind of like the idea, Michael, of just kind of letting him go for a year, and when he's figuring out the sport, you just go be productive. What do you expect to see from a kid with only 13 college starts?
Honestly, I expect to see at least 8 wins this season because he has that type of ability. And, you know, he's going to be in the same offense that Jalen Hurts was in. He's going to get the same teaching, the same tutelage, and he's going to be surrounded with some really good football players on the offensive side of the ball. And I think in today's game, these young quarterbacks, they go through so much from the time they leave Pop Warner, get to high school, and then in their collegiate careers. They pretty much learning the game of football year round. So these guys come in a little bit more advanced. They can handle being a rookie and playing in the National Football League. The only thing that can be a distraction is what goes on outside of the game. And once they learn to handle that and compartmentalize everything, you know, it all comes together. So I expect 8 wins. I expect him to look similar to what we've seen out of Jalen Hurts his first year, and then progressing from there.
Yeah, Josh Allen a little bit too. A little wild his first year, running around, making plays, getting into the end zone.
Yep.
So last year, Russell Wilson, it didn't work. He put on weight to absorb some hits, and he was not as elusive. But I still think Russell Wilson can play. But go to your career. So your first 3 or 4 years, nobody looked like Michael Vick. And let's be honest, Russell Wilson in his prime, I mean, he was like a kid running through a mall. Nobody ever got a shot at him. Nobody ever hit him. And then all of a sudden, few shots, you slow down. It's not the same Michael. Go, and I think that's where Russell is. He can still move, but it's not quite the same. When did you realize? Was there a linebacker that you couldn't make miss? Was there a moment for you you're like, time out, I can't outrun all these linebackers?
Yeah, it might have been a little later in my career when I started to feel like I couldn't get away from guys. But I know when Carolina drafted Thomas Davis in 2006, and what they did, they made him the will linebacker. We used to run like a bootleg, and sometimes, you know, I used to just keep the bootleg off a play action pass. And it's just a simple concept, but, you know, I would break outside the back door and just break contain and just eat Carolina up for like 10 yards a pop.
Yeah.
At least 3 times a game, Colin, and gain at least 30 to 35 yards on that play. And then they went and drafted Thomas Davis, and all of a sudden that play became obsolete. I couldn't get out the back door no more. And I'm like, I can't outrun a linebacker who I know is fast, but he shouldn't be fast enough to walk me down or run me down. And so once I started to realize that, it was more so I got to become more of a pocket guy. I got to, you know, take a different approach in terms of moving the chains and conducting, controlling the offense. But it's definitely going to happen that you're going to slow down. I think the best thing for Russell right now was Sean Payton coming into the building. Sean's a guy who understands football, understands the game so much. I pulled so much from him just in doing TV and us in certain points just breaking down what we've seen on film or what we watching, and just knowing this is the best thing for Russell in the latter years of his career that allowed him to just go out and get back to making plays with his arm and then moving when he have to and being efficient in the offense. So Drew had a lot of success with Sean later in his career, and I expect to see the same thing out of Russ.
By the way, I don't know, have you watched the Netflix quarterback docuseries at all? Have you watched any of it?
I have. It's really good.
Yeah, what do you make of it? What do you make of it?
I like it. I like the day-to-day, just, following guys and their routines, and, you get to know a lot about them personally and what they like, what they don't like, the character of the man, the individual. And I think that's very personable for, the fans that watch the game and glorify some of these guys and appreciate what they've done for the game. But it can also be a little disturbing too. Depends on how much time that you got to put into it and how your coaches feel about, you on a daily basis being followed, and is it a distraction or not?
Yeah.
And that's why you probably see a couple guys turning it down. But I think the veteran guys can handle it. And then obviously it's up to the coaches to make sure that, it's not a distraction. But I love the concept of showing what these guys do or what we go through or what I went through on a daily basis and how stressful it can be and also how much fun it can be.
Yeah, no, I mean, you went through several stages of your career. There's the young, exciting Michael. There was some controversy. There was the rebirth. There was the Andy Reid. And it is a long road. Marcus Mariota has gone from college star to promising Tennessee guy to backup. It is, you know what, man? Maturity matters. All you guys were the best player in your state in high school, the best player in your conference in college. And when I watched that series, even with Mahomes, pro football's humbling. You know?
Yeah, I think, and at the end of the day, it kind of puts it in perspective, and hopefully for all the fans and the viewers watching, they can appreciate what these guys go through on a weekly basis in order to perform on a Thursday or Sunday or Monday and put on a good performance. And, sometimes we, the media, we can scrutinize and we can point the fingers at this person and that person, but professional sports, as you know, Colin, is really, really hard, and I'm glad that the fans get to see that perspective from that standpoint.
Michael Vick, Fox NFL Kickoff Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Great to be a teammate, Michael. Nice seeing you. Thanks for stopping by today.
Good seeing you, Colin.
Good seeing you. Yeah, the Netflix series is really interesting. You see that it's really home as escape. But with Mahomes, there is no escape because he's such a big star, a young wife, the brother, the family. With Mahomes, his ability to compartmentalize all that stuff I couldn't have done it at that age. Just couldn't have done it. I mean, the kid's really, really special. We're really lucky. We are, top of next hour as the preseason. I don't even count the Hall of Fame game as a preseason. I mean, they can't get the lights and the showers to work in Canton. Thursday night, the preseason starts. And so camp's been going on for 2 or 3 weeks here. We're all crossing our fingers on injuries. Teams don't hit nearly as much. They do more inter-squad games than ever before. So Thursday night is the beginning. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there is a full slate of games. So I'll give you my preseason final herd hierarchy, who I believe right now are the 10 best teams in the league. Going to have a couple of them before the season starts. There's going to be injuries. Stars are going to get hurt. Cross your fingers. But I will have that coming up. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.